no ideology, and no dogma of any kind. This is one of the things that makes Actualize.org unique among many other teachings and schools, is that most teachings and most schools are filled with a lot of ideology and a lot of dogma, stuff that they just want you to accept. And I have a whole episode called How Ideology Works, which goes into a lot of depth about the dangers of ideology, the dangers of dogma. Do not make the mistake of thinking that ideology and dogma is just a mistake that religious people make. No, no, no. This is a mistake that almost everybody makes. Scientific people make this mistake. Atheists make this mistake. Skeptics make this mistake. Political people make this mistake. Very intelligent people make this mistake. It's very easy to fall into some kind of ideology because that's what society feeds you, is various kinds of ideologies. And one of the most difficult things to do in life is to question and undo all the ideologies and dogmas that you've been filled with growing up in whatever culture you grew up in, whatever family you grew up in, whatever school system you went to. You know, they all filled your mind with various kinds of programming and beliefs and ideologies. And so questioning and undoing all of that and living a dogma-free, ideology-free life, that is very challenging. And it can be a little difficult to understand why that's even important. But the reason that it is because the thing you're ultimately after is you're after the highest truth, and you're after freedom of your mind. And so the problem with ideology and dogma is that it sort of anchors your mind down, and it doesn't allow your mind to explore all the nooks and crannies of reality that it needs to be able to explore to understand what reality is and to live the good life. You see, these ideologies are like grooves that your mind gets stuck in, and then it keeps going down these grooves. It keeps thinking down these grooves and looking at the world through these lenses. And that shapes and distorts what you're able to see and how flexible you're able to be and how you're able to change your life. People who are very ideological and dogmatic, they're not actually able to change themselves, which is what we need to do. We need to massively change ourselves in order to create the good life. And all of my research and philosophizing into the topic of epistemology, or the theory of knowledge, if I could boil all of that down to just one simple principle, it would just be, do not be ideological. It's just that simple. That's a very, very simple principle. And this grounds pretty much everything that I ever talk about ever in any of my content. And I stress this over and over and over again because it's so important. And it'll take you years to realize how important this is. But if you can follow this one principle in your life, this will save you a lot of misery and trouble. And a lot of going down dead ends and various kinds of ideological traps.